iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.
Wonderful. It felt like right place, right time. Even more so, it feels that way now. But when we first got that call, I just felt like this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. It just feels like the right story to tell with the right partner and with Jason and this amazing cast. And obviously, I wish it was a little longer, hint, hint. But it was a beautiful place to start.
It really is. I think it's been a dream role of mine for many, many years. And I think to do it with Ben feels beyond special and this specific team, and I can't wait to share it. It feels like it's been a little bit of a long time coming since we did a workshop.
Which is crazy because the rehearsal process has been literally the blink of an eye. It's been like literally 7 days, and yet we're like, we want to share it already.
Yes, we have not finished blocking it.
No, we have not.
It was kind of a whirlwind. It was a big day. It was actually on my opening night when I closed out Dear Evan Hansen, so that was like already a crazy night, and then I just got, I was crazy, so I was very much satisfied with that day as a whole, and then right after the show I got an email. And all I saw was at the top in the subject, it just said parade. And then I was just, I didn't know what it was for. I had no idea Michael was attached. I had no idea you were attached yet. I had no idea. And it was just an absolute no-brainer instantaneously.
I got the call during school. I was headed to English 6th period, and I almost passed out in my choir room. I was so excited. I knew the minute I got the call, my life would change, and I'm so happy it did.
Oh, so sweet.
Very, very exciting for me personally because, I'm a Broadway guy. I'm actually in Into the Woods on Broadway right now. I'm an understudy, and this is my first sort of like on-stage sort of starring role, which is really, really cool for me. And it's a great challenge, and I feel like it's a great responsibility. And I've also worked with Michael in the past, and he's a wonderful director. I was actually in Once on This Island on tour, and in the ensemble, you don't get the same sort of collaboration that you do in the scene work with the director, but it's great to be up here and see this process. It's hyper fast. We're working at light speed, but it's a great exercise in managing when you rest. So I'm trying to rest as much as possible, and it's been a lot of fun.
This is actually a kind of incredible moment for me because Parade was like the first musical I ever did in college, and I'm playing the same part I played in college. So it was very emotional when I got that call because it felt like a very big full circle moment for me.
Well, this was a show I've wanted to direct for a long time. It's a show I've loved for a long time. I mean, Best Buy was my Schubert Alley as a kid, so it's, I fell in love because I bought the album and then began to learn and love the show. So to be here some years later, I can't believe it. And to be getting to work with all these people, it just feels like such, not only a full circle moment, but such an incredibly rewarding and challenging and experience, and one in which I feel like a lot of responsibility. This is not something we take on lightly here.
I play Leo Frank.
Yeah, I play Lucille.
And they are a real-life couple. The show is
Yes.
based on a true story. It has a lot of truth in it, but it's also fictionalized in some ways. Mm-hmm. And they are a Jewish married couple in Atlanta at the turn of the century, dealing with a very difficult situation in which Leo is wrongly convicted of murdering a child in his factory that he is the superintendent of, a pencil factory, which really happened. And the beautiful thing about this particular musical is that there are some bits of letters and truth that indicate that it was a very loving marriage between Leo and Lucille, but what Jason and Alfred and Hal Prince, may he rest in peace, did together is really build this true story around this marriage and around these two people coming together over this difficult time and seeing each other for the first time, and that romantic storyline and that human love that the two have is my favorite part of the piece.
Yeah, and I think it drives at the end of the day, like, you're left with love, even if it ends so sadly. Like, that's the kind of heartbreaking part of it, is it happened so quickly. But it's really fun for us to play that journey, I think. It's usually the opposite in a lot of musicals.
Yes, like disillusion.
Yes, and this is fun and unique, and I love the kind of that part of it. It feels so right.
I play Frankie Epps, and this is a lot of these people are based on real people during real events, and Frankie is loosely based on a person named Georgie Epps, and he's somebody who knew Mary Fagan very well, who you play, and that's pretty much all that's needed to be known going in, is that I'm a dear, dear friend of Mary's, who is obviously distraught by the events of the show.
I play Mary Fagan. She is a 13-year-old girl that works at a pencil factory trying to support her family. She is the definition of pure innocence. The whole story is around her killing and her tragic death. But she is the definition of innocence. She's childhood. And I think that's really important for people to see, because such an innocent life was taken from us in such a terrible way. But Frankie Epps.
And that's kind of what started the craze. That's like, it was because it was someone so young and known to just be such a great person that it took off the way it did and led towards more unspeakable horror in so many different respects. So
but you see all of her friends, including Frankie, and band together to help.
Initially try to help the family, and things go, and then it builds down a horrible road of hate and destruction.
I play Jim Conley. Jim Conley is a key witness in this trial who is actually coached, blackmailed a little bit into giving false testimony.
I fell in love with the score, of course. I mean, the music is stunning. It is so soaring and rhythmic and inspiring. But also, I think I fell in love with the fact that this is a true story. These people lived and died and went through unbelievable experiences. And for me as a kid, hearing that, I thought, oh no, I'm used to musicals being like an escape and not really an investigation. And so this investigation of a musical that not only sort of like picks at, one, the human heart, and two, this incredibly difficult story, but that also can take audiences on an emotional journey, is just, I think, like the pinnacle of what theater can and should do.
It's been a few years since college, so yeah, I guess I'm approaching it from a bit of a different place now. It's a heavy show. The material is heavy, but it at the same time, I feel honored and to be telling this story and to be a part of this in this room with these amazing people. Like Jason Robert Brown's right over there.
There's something beautiful
Yeah.
about...
Is this your first time doing this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
You?
me too, yes.
Yeah. I like how fast it is because you can't really second guess
Yes.
a lot.
There's a lot of release involved. It's a lot of just like jump in, make a choice. The orchestra's coming tomorrow, the tech is the next day, and the
Yes.
audience is the next day. So it's just kind of like, you're exactly
Trusting.
right. Yeah, it's
Trusting.
trusting yourself and your other actors and like taking the plunge.
And we have the team to do it.
Totally. And there was so much work
So
done
much prep.
in advance by the creative team, by Michael Ardner, brilliant director, by the designers, by the choreographers. So they really were ready to just slot us in.
Yes, we walked in and we set the entire show.
It's funny, I've actually never seen a production of this show, and I think that's common for a lot of people who are going to be coming in and seeing this. It hasn't been done professionally in quite a long time. I know it toured recently, but and it was in London. It was a wonderful production in London as well. But to do this now and have Jason on board is unreal.
It's
just to work with
crazy.
Jason is unreal, and for Michael to be doing it, I think it's in the best hands it could be.
My sister was in it in like 2018.
Yeah?
She was
Oh,
Essie
cool.
back in Houston. So from the minute I saw her, I was like, I want to be Mary Fagan. And here I am.
There you go. You did
Full
it.
circle.
Amazing.
It feels very pure. It feels like I have access to what the core artistic intention of the piece is, and I also feel like I'm being fully invited to help shape this, and it's just allowing me to be the most of myself in this process, which is really, really wonderful.
So
It's really unreal. It just feels like the ultimate stamp of approval and authenticity to have him being honest with us and telling us about the inception of the piece and about Hal Prince and invoking Hal Prince and playing the piano himself and then conducting in the show. It just feels like we're in the best possible hands because this is his baby, which he wrote when he was 24.
24.
Like, are you
what were
joking?
You doing?
So it just feels like a privilege to me to have him in the room.
Yeah, and I think, he's been working on it for 20 plus years, so he has so much knowledge of this piece that there's so many secret hidden gems that we get to learn about within the music, and having an orchestra behind us, it like couldn't feel more right. Yeah, we're in good hands.
Yes, the best hands.
It's wild. I mean, it's you know, it's like we have an incredible responsibility. We have to meet that. You know, we have to provide the accuracy and the unswerving diligence of how he conducts this brilliant piece of writing. So it's a lot of fun too, because he's able to hear things in the music and know what this is about in a way that none of us ever will. And so to have him as part of this process is a real gift.
I hope that it inspires people to find the courage to be active in their communities, whatever that means. It could mean so many things, but it's truly a mirror on America, on the society that we live in today. That's all this is. And it's beautiful and it's painful. It's going to be tough for a lot of people to get through, and I don't see anyone leaving this production unchanged or indifferent. Whether or not they hate it, love it, whatever, it is just one of those pieces, and I hope that people are open when they come in.
We go to the theater to see extraordinary, unbelievable stories across this divide of the fourth wall of people who are so different than us, who we couldn't possibly share anything in common. And if we do our job right, by the end of the evening, we see ourselves on stage, and therefore we say, hey, I might be able to look at someone differently, to think about something differently. You know, if we look in that mirror and can re-examine how we live our own lives, then that's theater working.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.